What's up, Singapore? Rasati out here on the Night Owl podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys being here as I enjoy this island life. Man, it's been really cool the last couple of days, and I've been enjoying the weather, especially the breeze is so nice to have the windows open and the front door open and have that breeze come right through the entire house. And yeah, I can't say enough about fresh air and cool winds here in Singapore. Anyway, so I have been recently speaking to a lot of people, and I've had a lot of people actually ask about what do you do when you're in a relationship and you're worried that, your partner may stray, or your partner's eye is being caught by somebody else, or somebody's, vying for your partner's attention. What do you do in those situations? And I thought it was interesting because for the first time, instead of asking me for advice on what they should do, they asked me how I would handle it. It's different, right? I mean, it's the same thing, but it's also different. It's sama-sama, but different. Anyway, so they asked me what I would do in the situation, and I thought it would be fun to kind of answer it here in the podcast as well. I mean, I did give them the answer while we were in conversation, but I thought I'd put it up here as well so you can see how I have finally evolved to a place where I feel pretty good about who I am and what I'm doing. So back in the day, when my boyfriend in college, right? He would talk about how he was in love with Janet Jackson, and she was just the ideal woman for him. And I'm looking at Janet, and I'm like, okay, I love Janet Jackson. I've always loved Janet Jackson, but the minute he said it like that, I was like, yo, excuse me, hold on, hold the phone. I'm dating you. You're with me. You chose me, right? And you look at me and you look at Janet. We don't look nothing alike. So if she's your ideal woman, what in the hell made you come choose me? And so, of course, I didn't say all those things, but I was kind of getting jealous. And here I was comparing myself to this pop icon. Icon. I have no business doing that, first of all. Who am I? Anyway, so here I was comparing myself to this pop icon, wondering how the hell am I going to keep this man's attention if that's the ideal woman? So here I go with this, comparison thing that started degrading myself. I was degrading myself. He did not do it. I did it to myself. But I was so insecure that at that point, I realized, oh God, if she's the ideal and I'm the reality, how long is this going to last? And if that's the case, how easy would it be for somebody else to get my man's attention? Like I was genuinely scared, really worried. And I think I did an episode on this way back when where I was talking about, I was afraid of having girlfriends around me because what if my man suddenly likes one of my girlfriends instead? I mean, you hear this all the time. My man cheated on me with my girlfriend or my best friend or my sister or something stupid. Okay, so here's what I was trying to figure out. I thought it was the best thing for me to do to keep my head on swivel. I thought it was in my best interest to kind of be worried about this so that I never do anything that might send him searching outside of our relationship, which was dumb. So then I became this needy basket case that would get upset about certain things. I mean, I was never to the point of you're not allowed to go out to parties, you're not allowed to go out with people, you're not allowed to speak to other human beings. I wasn't like that. But I was, keep tabs on him. If he went out with the boys or whatever, I would call him at midnight and I would expect him to come home, come back to the dorms and stay in the room with me or whatever. I had some things that I did. I know that I stopped going out to parties because I knew that we went to Bridgewater College, okay? One horse town, maybe a couple of traffic lights, that's it. But if we all go out partying and drinking, there's only one place we're going to end up, right? If it wasn't Melrose, it was somewhere in town near JMU. So I stopped going out because there was one time that we went to a party and he saw me dancing with somebody because he arrived after we did. And it was a friend of his. It meant nothing. I was just hanging out, and he got upset. So then I made sure I didn't do anything to upset him ever again. So that was the mindset I was in. I was trying really hard to people please, and I mean people please my ass off, to the point that I didn't like who I was. I didn't like what my relationship had become. It was like I'd given him all the power to be able to control my life and upset me with the way things were, what was appropriate, what wasn't appropriate in our relationship. And eventually it kind of broke down. I mean, I was with him for 8 years and we almost got married. I was engaged to him only to find out that he had been cheating on me. And I finally got to a place where I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't be this person that I'd created myself to be in order to please him because it wasn't doing me any good. I was a shadow of my former self. So when that relationship fell apart, I thought the next one I would do a little bit better. So here we go. Take two, right? Love, take two. Unfortunately, he was a rebound. I'm not going to lie about that. But I thought it was a good match anyway because I was looking for someone who could be a good father. I wanted a family, and he happened to be a father already. He had two kids that I knew of, and he seemed to be doing a pretty good job. He was shuffling between daycare and work, and he always had the kids with him when he wasn't at work. And it seemed like, wow, he was really paying attention. It was kind of the attention I was wishing I'd had from my dad. My dad was always overseas and working somewhere. So I felt this connection with this guy that seemed like, hey, he could be a really good family guy. And that's what I was looking for, because it seemed like my former boyfriend was more bachelor type. And even though he would have been a good family guy, it just seemed like he wasn't ever interested in really building like that with me. So I kind of, shifted to somebody who already had a family, and maybe that would be helpful for me. So where in my last relationship I was panicky and needy and irritating, I had gotten to a point where I would check his phone, I would check behind him, I would listen into conversation. I was like paranoid delusional, okay? And it wasn't serving me at all. So this relationship, instead, I was like, what? I am not doing none of those things. I am not about to fall down this damn wormhole, this rabbit hole, and dig my own grave and make it worse. So what I did instead was I made sure, I promised myself I would not check behind him. I would not check behind him. I would not look at his phone. I would not ask him a bunch of questions. And I was hoping that me being a little bit more secure in this manner, I mean, for all intents and purposes on the outside, I looked pretty secure because I wasn't doing all the behaviors that were like, panicky and insecure. But inside my own mind, I was having that battle. So what I didn't do this time around, I thought I was fixing myself. I thought I was being better, right? What I didn't do this time was I didn't check behind him. I didn't question his every make and move and where he is and all. I didn't. And I felt pretty good about that. I focused on the kids. I focused on being the best person that I could be around him, for him, to help him out. But I also fell into this phase of not asking enough questions. And because there was so much space for him to do whatever he wanted to do, it was like there was no accountability for him. And it's not that I wanted to hold him accountable or responsible or any of those things. I wanted not to have to worry. And so I focused on other things. So while this one was also cheating, and I had no idea, I didn't have any idea until I left him. What I did realize was there were other problems that I had created for myself. I have this habit of, if I ask you for help a couple of times and you said no, and the way you make me feel about the no, like if you demean me, condemn me, criticize me, make me feel like shit about something I did that I didn't know any better about, or made a couple of mistakes the same way, I tend to shy away from you because I don't like that behavior. It makes me feel bad. So just like with anyone else, you're going to withdraw your energy a little bit and try and do things on your own where you don't have to ask that person for help. Whereas this is supposed to be your best friend, your partner for life, And again, I was with him for about 8 years. We were married. Okay, I had my daughter with him. There was a lot going on, but eventually it also broke down because as a partner, not that I was, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was worried about, whether I was a good fit or I was sexually appealing to him or physically attractive to him, because he would constantly tell me about all of his conquests and everyone he'd ever been with and all of his exes and how great they were and how they still keep in touch. And it was like, he would constantly parade all those people in front of me, where my first ex did not, this ex did. And he would show me pictures he had taken of photo shoots they had done together and things like that. And it was very intimidating because I did not look like any of these women, once again. And I know at some point he chose me, but it was very, very, it was like quicksand for my ego. It really was. And I was sinking fast. So while I didn't ask or check behind him, I was constantly worried that I didn't look good enough. And sometimes when I didn't feel good enough, you know how when you don't feel good, your energy kind of ebbs and flows. You kind of hold yourself, your body posture, the way you dress kind of doesn't jive with what you could look like. You kind of dress the way you feel, which is like sweatpants and sweatshirts and just slum wear, basically, right? You're slumming it most of the time. So when I stopped taking care of myself, he started drifting. And I didn't realize it at the time because I was a full-time mom. I was soccer mom, man, with a two-door hatchback, mind you. But I was shuttling the kids to and from school, to football practice, to cheerleader practice, to the grocery store, to the movie theater. I was like full-time mom. I was at home. I was a homemaker. I worked and I kept the house up. I mean, I built IKEA furniture. I learned how to cook. I did all kinds of stuff. And I felt good about that. But me being so independent and well suited into the family gave him a lot of space to not have to be home. Whereas before he had to be home to take care of the kids, right? He gave him space. Plus, because I could handle things and didn't need him to do anything, I think it emasculated him a little bit. And so he felt uncomfortable around me. So, those two situations, very, very different. But at the time, my mentality was such that I was still feeling insecure. Now, if you ask me, and I hope it's the same thing because I'm not actually in a relationship right now, so it wouldn't be tested until I get into a relationship. But now, if you ask me, what would you do if you suddenly got the impression that your man might be interested somewhere else? I would tell you that to the best of my ability, I will not check behind him. To the best of my ability, I will not try to trap him in a lie or catch him in a lie. To the best of my ability, if he passed comments like, oh my gosh, introduce me to this chick, she's a friend of yours, right? She's hot, she's got a nice ass, blah, blah, blah. If they were to say anything like that, right? I would say, sure, okay, I'll introduce you. Because at this point in my life, I like how I look. I think I could look better, obviously. I can always look better. I think I dress fairly well. I think I have a good head on my shoulders. I think I have great life experience. I think I can hold a conversation for more than a day or two. Yeah. And if you feel the need that, to find other people while you're hanging out with me or spending time with me, to that I would say, go ahead. Because if anyone can take you away from me, it means your attention was never really here in the first place. So for anyone who says they're loyal, that they're with me, that they're not going anywhere, that they're always good to their friends, they take care of their people or whatever, if you're going to say those kinds of things to me, if you're committed to me at all, if you're with me, you're with me. And if you're hanging around me as if like I am a placeholder for you to find the next great thing or whatever, then if you got to go, you got to go. I'm not going to hold you here. But I'm going to let you know, I will be here. I'm here. I was here before you got here. I will be here after you get here. Chances are you will piss me off to the point that I will create even more than I'm creating right now. So either way, I will win. I will be okay. But if anyone can steal my man away from me, it means he was never mine in the first place. It means he was never there with both feet, fully committed, really in it to win it. He wasn't mine to begin with. So with that being said, I think it's a different approach for me at this point in my life. I know what I've accomplished. I know what I'm capable of. I know I'm not going to find a perfect man. There is no such thing. There's no perfect woman out there. I'm not perfect. If you strike up a conversation with me and we can go, talk for a while, as in like a couple of months, and there's no problems, like we don't really get in a fight or anything, you can try me. I mean, seriously, you can instigate, you can push me, you can try to get rid of me before I get rid of you. Like, I've done all of those things. I understand what trauma looks like, okay? And for the most part, I can tell that it's your trauma speaking to me. But I try really hard to make sure that I remind myself, yeah, I am a catch. I am a good human being. I am capable of some really magnificent things. I have a big heart. I'm going to try and help you guys every step of the way that I can. I will support you in your career. I truly believe that any great relationship has your space, my space, and our space. And I will maintain that to the best of my ability. But if anyone can catch your attention while you're with me, that tells me everything I need to know. It means that you were looking while you were with me, as in like actively searching for another replacement while you were with me, which tells me everything I need to know. I have learned to trust action over words. People can, oh my gosh, people can sweet talk you. And if you're in a bad place, because you came out of a worse situation and somebody suddenly just strikes up a conversation because they noticed something you posted and they sound real sweet for a little while, it's easy to get caught up and think that that's a relationship. It's easy to see that, oh my gosh, they get me, they love me, they think I'm beautiful and gorgeous and whatever. It's cool. I understand. I'm not knocking any of you guys, but I've gotten to a place in my life where I've been sweet talked one too many times. I've had one too many people come in and, oh my gosh, you would be great to help me with this and help me with that. And they will bleed me dry because they want to build something for themselves and they know I have the resources or I have the intellect to be able to kind of put that together. And if I'm interested in you, of course I'm going to invest my time in you. Of course I'm going to push you forward. Of course I'm going to support you everywhere I can. I do that for my friends and my family too. But if someone can take you from me, if someone can sweet talk you and you find your energy directed towards them, it means my energy wasn't strong enough for you in the first place. My energy wasn't right for you. I wasn't the right fit for you. And as heartbreaking as it might seem, I'm not about to convince you to stay either. My days of proving that I'm good enough, done. My days of showing you all the things that you would be missing, you better not, because this is what none of that. My fallback response when people threaten me is, okay, you know what, you don't do this, I'm gonna walk out of here. Okay. How do you fight with someone that doesn't engage? You can't. So when somebody asked me the other day and they were like, you give a lot of really great advice and I really appreciate it, but what would you do if someone you were dating was interested in somebody else or mentioned something or made you feel like, they might be slipping away? What would you do? I'm done trying to control people. I can't. Because when you control people, things usually backfire. I'm done trying to convince people I'm good enough. Because I shouldn't have to convince you that I'm good enough. If I have to convince you that I'm good enough, it means you never saw my value in the first place. If I have to remind you of all the things I've done for you, it means none of that stuff mattered. So here I am telling you, I'm finally in a place in my life where I feel good about who I am and what I've accomplished and my abilities as a person. If I can't be with somebody who can stretch and challenge me and improve my quality of life and add to my peace and be an extra reason for me to be happy, it's okay. I was fine being by myself. And I think that was the major lesson here. So to go back to the recap, right? My first college boyfriend, I fell in love at, 18, some change? Yeah. 1999, fell in love. Broke up with him in 2003. 2003, fell in love again, like an idiot. 2003 until 2013. That was another 10 years. So half my life I spent in one relationship or another. And it wasn't until after the second relationship that I finally stopped dating people. I stopped dating. I stopped being in a relationship with anybody but myself. And I finally got used to the quiet that comes with being by yourself. I finally got comfortable with doing things on my own. Going to movies, going to clubs, going to restaurants. And it wasn't like I was actually on my own. I had a little baby girl with me. But the point is, I was finally happy to be me. I was finally confident enough to dress the way I want to dress. I made some mistakes. I screwed up a couple times. I learned real fast. But the point is, once I had that, a period of 7 years so far, where I've been by myself, I'm happy to be by myself, the freedom of not having to check in with someone before I go somewhere, ask someone's permission, make sure they're okay, they know where I am, what I'm going through, what's going on. I don't have to do none of that. I own me. And I'm okay. I'm good. So now if somebody dates me, they're in serious competition with the silence that surrounds me when I'm not with anybody. The peace that surrounds me and pervades my home when I'm not with somebody. So if you can't compete with that, baby, do yourself a favor. Don't even shoot your shot. If you can't honestly add to my life, if you can't deal with the fact that I might need some space to myself, if you can't be okay with not talking to me every second of every day, we're going to have a problem anyway. And at that point, if you find that, being around me doesn't uplift you and make you feel like a rock star and you have to go looking for somebody else's attention, that means I wasn't a good fit for you in the first place. And as much as it would break my heart, because every time I give out energy, I do get attached a little bit, I'm not going to lie, I think I'd be okay. So, I would love to hear what you think. Please drop your questions, concerns in the comments below. But in the meantime, know that it took me a lot of pain to get to this point where I'm no longer wanting to justify who I am or prove my worth or remind you of the value I bring to the table or tell you that I can build the table. I don't need you to buy it for me. If I ever get to that place, I'm with the wrong person. And if you ever feel the need to threaten me or control me or push me or pull me or any of those things to see if I will budge or not, then you don't understand my energy at all. So, with that being said, I'm going to call it a night. But you guys, I really do want to hear from you. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.